There's an undeniable pull in seeing a titan of tough talk and ironclad opinions suddenly peel back the armor to reveal a heart still capable of flutter. Sean Hannity, the 63-year-old colossus of conservative airwaves whose nightly thunder has shaped American discourse for decades, recently did exactly that, trading policy broadsides for a whisper-soft admission that left millions blinking in disbelief. The man who once grilled presidents and dismantled talking points with surgical precision paused mid-broadcast, voice dipping into a register rarely heard on prime time, and spoke of the woman he now calls the undeniable love of his life, a confession that didn't just humanize a media juggernaut, but quietly rewrote the script on a persona many thought was etched in granite. I started scrubbing pots at 12, flipping burgers by 13, slinging drinks behind neon-lit bars for years, then swung hammers on framing crews, slapped paint on McMansions, and hung wallpaper until my fingers bled, all while talk radio crackled through dusty headphones like a siren song I couldn't ignore. One sun-drenched afternoon in Santa Barbara, fate nudged me toward a tiny college station booth, and the kid from Queens who once mowed lawns for pocket change discovered that a microphone could command more power than any nail gun ever could. Born Sean Patrick Hannity in 1961 amid the brick row bustle of a working-class Irish enclave in New York, the youngest of four siblings raised under the stern but loving gaze of a court officer father and a jail guard mother, young Sean learned early that grit wasn't optional, it was oxygen. Neighbors remember a wiry boy with a mop of dark hair and a mule-stubborn glint who refused to back down from backyard debates or neighborhood chores, the same relentless spark that later fueled marathon monologues and headline-making showdowns. While classmates chased baseball glory, Hannity chased voices drifting through late-night static, mesmerized by how a single broadcaster could ignite living room revolutions across the continent. By 20, the 9-to-5 grind felt like a cage. He bounced from construction sites to cocktail shakers, but every spare moment was spent rehearsing rants into a handheld recorder, dreaming of the day his own cadence would echo coast to coast. That day arrived in fits and starts. A volunteer slot at UC Santa Barbara's 50-watt station, then paid gigs in Huntsville and Atlanta where his rapid-fire delivery turned heads and opened doors. In 1996, a fledgling network called Fox News took a gamble on the brash New Yorker, pairing him with liberal foil Alan Combs in a format that crackled like ideological lightning. Hannity and Combs became appointment viewing, a nightly coliseum where ideas clashed and ratings soared. When the solo Hannity launched years later, it cemented his status as conservative America's megaphone, interviewing titans, skewering opponents, and never shying from the fray. Yet off-air, colleagues whisper of a different Sean, a devout churchgoer who quotes scripture between segments, a fiercely loyal friend who still mails handwritten birthday cards, a man who craves the hush of early morning prayer more than the roar of studio applause. I truly believe that apart from divine grace, I am utterly incapable. Every breath, every breakthrough, every sunrise is an unearned gift. Long before the bright lights, in the fluorescent hum of an Alabama newsroom, a young reporter named Jill Rhodes first heard that distinctive baritone calling for story leads. What began as professional banter blossomed into late-night confessions, and in 1993 the couple exchanged vows in a modest ceremony brimming with the kind of wide-eyed hope that only 20-somethings possess. Jill became the anchor to his hurricane, the soft voice reminding him to eat between broadcasts, the partner who grounded a skyrocketing career. Patrick arrived in 1998, Mary Kelly in 2001, and suddenly the firebrand pundit was also the dad racing from tapings to tennis tournaments, sneaking glances at report cards between commercial breaks. But fame is a jealous mistress. Endless travel, relentless scrutiny, and the invisible weight of public expectations slowly eroded the foundation they had built. By 2019, after 26 years, the marriage dissolved in a whisper rather than a tabloid shriek, No venomous sound bites, no custody wars, just two people choosing separate paths while vowing to shield their children from the fallout. Co-parenting became their quiet triumph. Sean cheering courtside as Patrick smashed aces for Wake Forest, beaming from the bleachers at Mary's soccer games, proving that love, even when transformed, need not turn toxic. Privately, the split carved deeper grooves. The master of controlled chaos suddenly confronted a variable no debate prep could tame. Friends noticed longer silences, more contemplative stares into coffee cups, a man recalibrating what victory actually meant when the house grew echo quiet. He doubled down on dawn workouts, scripture study, and the uncomplicated joy of family dinners sans cameras, emerging with a serenity that softened the edges of his on-air persona. Romance, it seemed, had been permanently archived until the universe, with its penchant for plot twists, orchestrated a collision in the most unlikely corridor, the fluorescent-lit hallways of Fox News headquarters. Ainsley Earhart, the effervescent South Carolina sunrise who had anchored morning smiles through her own tempests, two dissolved marriages, single mother juggles with daughter Hayden, and an unshakable faith that radiated like Carolina gold, had long shared studio banter with Hannity. What began as collegial nods across makeup chairs evolved into lingering conversations about scripture, parenting war stories, and the peculiar loneliness of smiling for millions while nursing private aches. Colleagues clocked the shift, the way Sean's laugh lines deepened when Ainsley entered a room, how her eyes lit up recounting his off-camera kindnesses. They attended the same Bible studies, slipped into the same pews at early services, built a bond woven from shared values rather than spotlight theatrics. No paparazzi parades, no gushing Instagram posts, just two battle-scarred hearts discovering that companionship could feel like coming home. Then, on a seemingly ordinary broadcast, Hannity's voice caught ever so slightly, the trademark certainty giving way to something raw and radiant. He spoke of gratitude that bordered on reverence, of a presence that steadied him through storms he once weathered alone, and finally, eyes glistening under studio lights, declared he had found the love of his life, a woman who made every sunrise brighter, every burden lighter. He never uttered her name, but the tenderness telegraphed it louder than any headline. Ainsley. Viewers accustomed to rhetorical thunder felt the earth tilt. Social media erupted in a chorus of stunned delight. Memes of a softened Hannity trending alongside heartfelt essays on second-act grace. Critics who once painted him as unyielding suddenly saw nuance. Fans who idolized his bravado now cherished his humanity. At 63, the boy who washed dishes for quarters has scripted an epilogue no focus group could predict. A life where primetime dominance shares the stage with private serenity, where ideological warfare yields to the quiet victory of a heart reclaimed. His confession wasn't mere gossip fodder. It was a masterclass in resilience, proof that vulnerability can amplify authority, that gratitude outshines grandeur, and that love, when it finally circles back, often arrives wearing the familiar smile of someone who's walked the same rugged miles. Sean Hannity, once the lone wolf howling into the political night, now strides into each dawn flanked by faith, family, and a Carolina girl whose light reminds him that the greatest debates are the ones we wage within, and the sweetest triumphs are the ones we never broadcast.